Oh, oh my goodness. Oh, keep coming. You know, y'all know good boy used to be out. You know, but I love it that you know I got all sitting at the actual table with it. No,
we had a real table, Donnie. We had a real table. We was invited to a real table today.
So look, welcome to what?
Speak on it.
Oh, Louisiana Country Boy. My co-host.
The little diva.
We can say that together. Look,
We're never
look, you out. Hold on, we got special guests.
We got special guests.
We got
and we live. We're like live. We live with a table, Donnie.
Hold on. Look, y'all. My co-host told me since I am controlling the control panel, I have to watch the comments. So tonight, y'all don't have to excuse me. I'll have a whole laptop, so I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be putting up the comments tonight. But look here, man. It's an honor. It is an honor. It is an honor to be here. It is an honor and privilege to be sitting right here with this wonderful lady. I met her a while back. And let me tell y'all, I'll just say this. I'm going to find it out there. Don't be mad. Right. One time I met this young lady, it was that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spirit. Beautiful spirit. At that point, I didn't even know she was candidating. I don't know if she was candidating.
She was candidating.
Oh, is that what? I don't know. But I didn't know she was candidating. Anyway, beautiful person. And that's what made me want her and ask her to come because I want y'all to know the person but what it is, I want y'all to know the person that I know, the person that I met, the person that I met. So look here, I'm gonna go on now. You know, my cousin say something. She's like, I took it out.
This is Speak on It today. This is not table talk. My words is just this is both of us. They know I'm just joking. But no, he always likes. I let him think he's running things. I'm just joking. But today I am excited as well because most of you guys know that I work in the community and I work with a lot of public servants, and it's something that I love to do. You know, I was out on Antoine with my signs when it was time to vote. You know, Miss Cleo keeps me working all the time. But today I was excited when Country Boy told me that we were going to have Miss Marina. Y'all, if you saw a flyer earlier that this is Mariana, it is not her fault. It is my fault. It is Marina. Marina, like the Marina. Angelica Coryat. Is that right? That is right, but I said it right. So she is running for Houston City Council at large position 2. And me and Country Boy was talking the other day, and we was like, what did that mean? So we're going to ask you during this to educate and that's another thing that I love to do. Yes. I love to educate people on things because, you know, when they go out and vote, we want them to understand what they're voting for, who they're voting for, and what does that even mean? You know what I'm saying? So let's turn it on over to our guest today. We're ready. Are you ready? You are you speaking on it. Yes.
Well, let me tell you, I'm a former trash talker. So I'm Marina Angelica Coryat. I'm running for Houston City Council at large. Yes. And what does that mean? Let me just start, and I'll tell a little bit about my background later. You can ask me questions. But just to start off, at large means the entire city of Houston. So the way that the city of Houston is broken down, it's a hybrid type of arrangement. You have 11 district council members, which goes from A, B, C, 11 of those, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, right? We're all together.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you have 5 at-large council members, and they represent the whole city of Houston.
Oh.
Okay. So now the city of Houston has 5 of them. We have to designate as mandate which position we are going to run for. In some cities, they have a system where the top 5 or top 2 or whatever gets the position. But in the city of Houston, we have to designate. For instance, I'm running for position 2. I'm designated when I went to file out my paperwork. I paid my $500 to get on the ballot. And that's how the city of Houston works concerning at large. So we have a hybrid. Then we have a controller who audits the money. And then we have the mayor who is responsible for the entire city of Houston in terms of governing the city. And then we sit at the horseshoe together where we make those decisions. I hope that makes sense.
It does. It does bring some clarity. So position 2 of that is means, because you said the A through K, but the position 2 means the second position. What is that?
It's just one of 5 positions because there's no designated areas.
Gotcha.
The whole city of Houston is 665 square miles that we are responsible for over
large,
over 2.3 million people.
Wow.
That we know of, because we don't know how many are documented that we know of that we're responsible for. And so this is really important because the city of Houston has a $6.2 billion budget, but not only what happens in the city, we have, we're in an 11, county region. So a lot of things that happen in the city, even though you say it doesn't happen, it doesn't affect me, I'm not in the city, it does have a ripple effect in the other counties. Just like we're in Humble right now. It's a ripple effect in the Humble region.
Definitely. Okay, so go ahead and tell us about where did Marina come from? Like what area are you from, Houston?
Yes, I was born in Trinidad, in Tobago. Wow. I came to the United States when I was 1. I'm the proud daughter of Ruben and Pearl Coryat. My dad was an electrician. My mom was a stay-home mom. And we came here. We came to the East Coast. Then we came eventually to Houston. I came in like my junior high year. So I came into the Fort Bend area, Briargate, and went to Missouri City. And then went to Houston. When we moved in Houston, we got a property. Went to school, Dowling Middle School. We went to Lanier Middle School, junior high. I was in the band. I became a Falcon, and I went to Jesse H. Jones. I graduated so many years ago, and yes. And so after I left Jesse H. Jones, I was in the Vanguard program. I went to Cornell University.
Wow.
And I studied. I majored with government, and I got my Bachelor of Arts in Government. But while I was at Cornell, and before Cornell, I started studying Nihongo Hanashimasu. I studied Japanese. Yo puedo hablar en español también. And when I was at Cornell, I love languages. I love people. So I studied Kiswahili for a short amount of time. So habari gani, So
I knew you were going to do that. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Stomach. So what made you decide to go into politics or public service?
Wow, when I was at Cornell, I majored in government, but even in high school, my professor, my teacher told me, you would be good in government. And you know how they plant the seed and you never even think about it? And going on, and I was like, well, what am I going to do with these languages that I'm studying? So I said, I'll pair it with government. And then government became my major. And when I got out of school, then I got involved, even before that, even in junior high, I was doing block walking, registering the people to vote when Jesse Jackson was running for president. So
can I ask you a question now? Was the sun like this sun when you were block walking back then?
No,
I'm telling you. I had to tell Chris Hollins for controller. I had to tell the people, can I please be the person to just talk to people? Because I can't block walk no more. No, that's a different kind of sun. This is the climate change. Let me tell you, this is a whole different sun. Now, yeah. But no. ask you, was that the same sun that we got right now?
Oh no, it's so much hotter now. It's so man. That's why I'm so glad to be on this broadcast. So I
Yeah.
have to be live. So what?
Yeah.
So block later.
We gonna block in October. I'll come in October.
So back to the
Yeah, I'm
how
sorry.
it got me to starting. I think it was just a propensity after being exposed. Those little seeds. And it just kept getting watered. When I came out of school, I started campaigning. So I did campaign work for Governor Ann Richards, and I also did for Morris Overstreet, who at that time was running for the first time to be the first African American to the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, and he ended up winning then. And so, I could feel like I was part of something bigger than myself. And then after that, I actually landed a job with the Mayor's Citizens Assistance Office, where I started working under Bob Dean, under Kathy Whitmire, handling all the citizen concerns, all the phone calls that came in from the city. So it was me and someone else that would answer the phone. So if he was on break or what have you, I was taking on all the phone calls from the city.
Oh, you really ready?
So whether it's potholes, whether it was storm, sewage, whether it was their garbage, whatever the situation was, they would call. We didn't have computers at that time. We had a red book, we had a key map. We had to know the city inside and out, know how to target it, know the community development target. Look at, where are these calls coming from for community development areas, so that they would know when they were to actually put more money in. Oh, these are where these calls were coming from. So got a firsthand knowledge of how the city operates, all the different departments, working with the mayor's office, to have an opportunity to represent Kathy Whitmire, Mayor Kathy, at cultural and community events. So I had the great grassroots as well as the opportunity to work in the community on that level as well. And then I went on, when she lost the election, they needed that seat and I leave my position. So I moved on to the Housing and Community Development Department.
Okay.
And from there, I was an administrative assistant. I had some background, that I got exposed in recycling. But the other part of it is that when I was there, they gave me an assignment. For years and years, the department had been cited with this finding that they could not get removed from their from the books. And I went in and did the research, and I was able to identify property owners and properties for that department. So the finding was removed, because what happens is after a certain amount of time, if you don't remove those findings, HUD can stop the money that's coming in. Really? So it's about money flow, right? Yeah. So here it is, it may seem trivial, but it's like little is much, because that could affect the flow of money. And then after that, I told you I had a little exposure with recycling, and that became greater when I moved to the solid waste management. Now that's where I became the assistant public information manager, and then I became the public information manager. So I was the chief trash talker. Yeah. I was the council liaison, and I helped bring the city into a new level of bringing our heavy trash maps online, our garbage schedules online. I had to fight for certain things, because that one time it was like, why would we want to put our maps online? I said, because people might need to know when to put out their garbage, when to put out their heavy trash, rather than circling our trucks to come back after you've gone. At least they know we have made it a point of due diligence to put the information out there that when the garbage day and the heavy trash day and the recycling day is. So all of that was implemented. I pushed for that. I got that. And so that is something that became a part of just our modus operandi, modus operandi for the department. We came into social media. I remember when I first recommended to the department, I said, you know what? We need to be on social media. I see that we're having Twitter and other things, and they were like kind of hesitant to have us department's media page, social media page. I said, listen, if we don't get on this bandwagon, we're going to be left behind. I said, the council members are at the table tweeting their stuff. I said, well, at least try with Facebook. And so I remember talking to the department director, encouraging him for us to do it. And I said, well, if you're not going to put it on the solid waste management department page, at least get a personal page. Now I mean, now he's now retired, but
Right.
before he was, by the time we finished, he was putting his recipes. He became one of the biggest proponents, one of the biggest advocates for social media. So
Right.
I have seen the city evolve over time. I went into private in 2010, I believe it was that year. I left the city and I went to the private sector. I went and did public relations for McDonald's franchise owners, which was a fabulous experience. And then I went to I went to Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, where I had the responsibility of media and community investments for Blue Cross for the Southeast Texas region. But last but not least, just to kind of give you a background on my history, I worked for State Representative Symphonia Thompson, who is the longest serving African American and the longest serving woman in Texas legislative history. 50 years of representing the people of Texas.
I didn't realize it had been that long.
And yes, 25 terms. And I've had the privilege to be almost like a daughter to her and to also work for her in the last several years. And this has been a preparation for such a time as this. So this is the time I believe that has been ordained for me to be on this council seat, because there is a need for leadership, especially post-pandemic, especially in light of hurricanes and tropical storms and other incidents that have happened, and just having the issues that are at hand, having somebody at the table with leadership with purpose, having a heart for the community who can hit the ground running on day one.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Yeah.
Well, look, you know, that's how you. I love it.
Uh-oh.
Really do. But you know, you can trust. You can trust it. You know, some of the things that you actually have to face get made to go like, you know what? But I got to keep going. What is your life? What I'm asking. What is your life? The bottom line, you know, because you know, when you get that wow, you got to have a lot of life. You know?
Ooh, yeah.
You know when that tough thing, but you have to have a power and say, you know what? Even though this, what's your life?
Well, let me just tell you, I don't want to be over spiritual, but I got to tell you, I'm called by God for this. You know, that's the first thing. So obedience is better than sacrifice. But then I also think about me being a former City of Houston employee and remembering how the new council members would come in, and some of them had no knowledge of the City of Houston. So to get in there, to have somebody who's already had the experience of working with the city, already knowing the issues, already knowing how, even the buildings, and knowing the structure, knowing where the bathrooms are, some of the institutional knowledge, you know, that I'm carrying a lot. And sometimes it becomes like, it's almost like intuitive to me because I already know it. But when I sit back and I remember how people would come in and they would come and try to create the same policies, certain things that did not work. And it's like, look, we have history about this. You don't need to do this. We need to do it a different way, or we need to do it this way, which worked in the past. But somebody else said, no, we need to do it because they want to put their name to something new. So we need to go back to what is working, you know, and some of the things is going back to basics. And then there are other things that we need to do to improve, like, you know, in some of the environmental challenges that we're having. There's some things that we need to do that's new that we haven't done before. But, you know, when I think about city employees, when I think about people like my mom and dad who call on the phone, remember, I got all the phone calls for the whole city of Houston, and I would think, what if that was my mom and dad calling the phone? You know, they don't use the computer, so let them call and don't talk over their head.
Yeah.
Talk with them. Let them
Put
communicate. Communicate with them. And so, and not just because you have to, but and treat people in a way that they feel dignity and respect.
Yes.
They're the ones who are how we're working to serve them. So I'm here to be your voice in city council. And the thing is you're like, how can you be a voice to everyone? The reason is because I am going to listen to the concerns of the residents, of the people of Houston. Now, I may everyone is saying,
Yeah.
but I will objectively listen to what you have to say and give you the time of day. Now, that may not be that, like I said, I agree with everybody. I'm not going to make everybody happy all the time, but I'm going to do what is in the best interest and be led to do to vote in the right way for the issues.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sorry that because I'm just I tell you, you know, that's I will tell you what I heard. This is what I heard the best. I heard the genuineness. See, sometimes we get caught up in the grid. Sometimes we get caught up in foolishness and the bells and whistles. We get caught up in that.
Right.
And that's why because what you brought is your genuine transparency, the realness. See, y'all we get here, man. See, you always love somebody that stands for you, that believes that has some beliefs, that has something that stands. Why ask the question, what is your why? Because if you don't have the why, then why? You're not going in if you don't have a why. See, that why is what makes you get up and go.
Yeah.
That why is what keeps you pushing and keeps you pushing. That why is what keeps you being pulling further. See, let me tell you something. Serve. Serve. I hope y'all don't miss the word serve. That's what she's trying to do, to serve. That's what she has been doing. Tiffany, no, listen, I'm just telling you what I know. She has been serving. Serving. And I think I'm serving you. No, I don't mean y'all. I thank you for that because you have been an art doing what everybody should be doing, pouring out, giving of yourself, giving. I'm going to leave here the one way we also want to leave here. Giving.
Yes, that's what Dr. Miles Monroe said. He said that the richest place is the graveyard, and he said that when he wants to die, and in fact he wrote in his book, and he said, you know, to die empty. That means to pour out everything. And I just take that. You know, I miss him so much, but I have to tell you, we all have something that has been put in us to do, and I have been called for such a time as this. I don't know why at this particular junction versus other times, but this is the time. And I know that there are things that are coming down the pipeline that you're going to need somebody with experience for this, because let me tell you, this is not a time to play. People lost their lives during the pandemic. We needed leadership, and I'm grateful to have had Mayor Turner to be in that place to undertake all of those storms and all the pandemic and the experience that he had with city and state government, and having worked with national figures through those experiences. That's the same kind of experience. I won't say I have things identical, but I have experience of that and being prepared. I am National Incident Monitoring System trained for crisis communications.
Yeah.
And I've helped and I've been there. I've been at the table with Mayor Lee Brown, when during Tropical Storm Allison. I've been there in those critical situations. I've been there to put policies and procedures in place for the solid waste management department on a lot of the program. I've communicated with thousands and thousands. I've been at the point where at the helm where I have made the decisions for advertising budgets for the city of Houston when we had in the aftermath of storms. And there was one thing that I will say, and I will highlight, that just comes to mind all of a sudden, is that during the time we had an opportunity. They said, we want to get the word out to the community. They said, so put an ad in the Chronicle. And of course, I love the Chronicle, and there's nothing wrong. But if we're trying to reach people where they're at, I said, we need to diversify and put the information for how to put the materials out at the curb, how to handle the solid waste. And so I said, you know what? If it's going to take this extra effort, we we didn't have the computers like doing this. I had like almost 25 triplicate forms of purchase orders, purchase request forms, so that we would be able to get the information out in the various newspapers, whether it was Spanish, the Jewish Herald, I think it was all the African Americans, all the Asian, all of the different newspapers. We're over 20 something during that time, and I made sure that we diversified so that people would have the opportunity to get the information. And also the small businesses benefited from having that contract with the city. I just recently went during the time I was talking to some people about my running for office. They said I was one of those companies, and Chibo, you were right there. She was right here. She's in the audience, and she was there. And she was there when he said my first city contract because you reached out and diversified. We ought to have a council member that's looking beyond just what is traditional and what will work, and that the community will get the information, and also that businesses will be able to get involved and have diversity and have opportunities, that we will be able to expand opportunities for small businesses and businesses alike. One of the things is I'm a global person. I'm local, but I'm globally minded as well. So how do we bring businesses that are global and bring them to Houston? I'm a member of the Greater Houston Partnership. I'm a lifetime member. I've been an ambassador. One of the things is about retaining businesses, but as a council member, I want to go and attract businesses. Let us have these trade. I've already been invited to Japan and to Africa. Once I win, with your support, once I win, don't forget to go to marinaforhouston.com. Yeah, so when you go, just make sure you look me up. I need your votes. I need your support.
When is the election? Let's talk about that.
The election is November 7th. So that is the day of the election. But may I encourage you to early vote, which it begins in October. I believe it's October 21st. It's on my website, marinaforhouston.com. You can go right there and you'll see the exact date. But if you are 17 and about to turn 18 right before election day, go ahead and register so that you'll be eligible. If you have moved during the time in the last year or so, there's been a lot of people who moved. You moved from one house to another apartment, whatever. Make sure that your registration is up to date. Go to harrisvotes.com. harrisvotes.com.
And let me say this. I've seen so many people come up. I work the polls. What she's saying about the age, if you're going to turn, get that done, because I saw so many young people during the governor's race come there and they did not do that. They did not, so they could not vote. They were turned away because they hadn't done that part. Make sure you register. If you're about to turn 17 to 18, you still have to register to vote. So do it early. Early voting is the way to go, because you don't ever know what's going to happen on the day of voting. You never know. Somebody's car break down, whatever it is. Early vote is the way to go.
Yeah.
Sorry about stealing your thunder, but I have to say that.
That's speaking on it together.
That is so important to me, that people early vote, because you just don't ever know what, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going on that day.
Right. And let me tell you, and there's a 30-day window. So you have to be registered to vote 30 days prior to the election. And so for you to have that process, you need to make sure, because there's been a lot of challenges with the voting, and we don't want our rights taken. Do it early. Don't wait to the last minute. Put in your voter registration card. Go to harrisvotes.com and find out where you can register to vote.
I'll just say this. Understand, this is a privilege that you have to be able. I know a lot of people like that. I'm gonna say this. Don't get the yibby yabbing and complaining, and you didn't take your old self down there, and you didn't vote. You didn't don't get. I don't want to hear y'all talk about what somebody did. And if I ask if you win, you say, man, no.
Yeah, because you don't want to hear my wrath when you say that. You do not want to hear it.
Every vote counts.
Every.
You are important. Every one of us, each and every one of us. That's all I say. I can put up with you, give me something. If you ain't down there, you ain't care. I got time to hear it. No, I ain't.
And people have died for the right to vote. I mean, think about the sacrifices of our, and even in the last few years, we have had to fight for our rights. And so it is not for us to take it lightly. There were times and I'm going way back, but I remember my boss, Representative Sophronia Thompson, talks about the time where there was a poll tax. If you were a person of color, you had to pay a poll tax. Now you don't have to pay a poll tax. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to, you can either do it by mail or you can go right in, early voting, go to any location and just do your voting. Let me tell you, this is not a time to take it lightly. Who you decide on can affect the course of life for yourself and your children. And let me tell you, and now is the time, this is the city council race, the mayor and the city council now. But next year is the governor's race. Why not just get ready now so you can have local effective, local representation, and then you will have people who will represent you at the state. Because clearly there are some things, without me getting too political on the state level, when we talk about, what's happening to our children, the state, the education, we need to make a change. We can't have things happening in the same way that's happening right now. I'm going to take a stand right now. Let me just say, I feel really led right now to say that, education is very important. We cannot take away the rights of our children to even have the libraries changing, and I don't care what you call it, but now you have it transform into dissension center or another word that they're trying to call it. But when a child is looking and they're separated and segregated and pulled out from the classroom, and then you've got other kids who are probably bully them or come when they come back saying, you know what, you've been pulled out because you're either special ed or whatever. You know how kids are wrong, and so, not having the access to the books, taking the books out of the schools.
I would like to pin something there, and I'm sorry, it's just who I am, and I'm a very honest person. So what I would say to that is, I just have to be honest. And I'm gonna say it this way. I think that everyone, if you're invited, and child, let me tell you how much I love my mayor. Like that's love my mayor. However, I'm gonna be straight up and forward. If someone invites you, I will apologize. If someone invites you out to see what it really is, because you may not know what it really is, you gotta go. You just can't say no. You just can't say no. I don't want to see it because you don't know. You don't know. And I'm gonna say that to any public servant. And y'all know I love y'all, but we gotta be careful of the noise and make sure that we, at least if someone invites us out to say, hey, this is not what it really is, I invite you, Marina, to come out and see what this really is. If you stand back and say no, in my opinion, it doesn't look good. So all I'm saying is that maybe check it out, talk with other people who are on the inside before we make certain decisions. And this is my country boy always say, this is a disclaimer. I've got to give my disclaimer with this, is that I know things, and again, child, I love my mayor, but in this case, I say to all of the public service, people who run in for public service, people who are a part of the community, let's work together to talk, ask questions, and most importantly, that I think you would agree with me, listen.
Yes.
Let's not take the bullhorns. Let's quiet, and let's at least I know we're upset about the higher people that are doing some certain things, but let's ask. If he invites us out, let's take that opportunity to go and see for ourselves.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But one of the things that is very important is having accountability. And when you don't have a school board that you have accountability to, that's the fundamental part. When we elect people to positions, they're supposed to be held accountable. And when they are not put in that position and they're not holding accountable, and somebody just takes over that we have no accountability to, I think that's the fundamental problem. And so we need to look out for, so the bottom line is we have to go out and vote people out.
Yes.
And the thing is we are in a place, and it is very critical. So whether it's the school system, where we can't have somebody taking away our rights and our privileges.
Absolutely.
And that's what has happened in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that ought to not be so. And so I hear what you're saying about that particular aspect.
That's the only part.
But when you have
Yeah.
federal money that's coming to you
Yes.
for Medicaid and Medicaid expansion, and we throw that money away, that's not the city, that's the state. But
Right.
we're giving it away to other states, and we have people who are in dire need
of it.
that could meet the gap that they might need as hardworking people.
Mhm.
Let me tell you, we need to do something about that. I didn't come in here to talk about the state, but you
Right.
know what? But let me tell you,
There.
we
Yeah.
know we are all intertwined. Now that's why having even the knowledge of government, I studied government. I have my Bachelor of Arts in government.
Mhm.
So I understand the distinctions between federal, state, and local government,
Yeah.
as well as quasi-governmental entities such as the Port Authority and Metro. And so how do they all work together? So that's one of the things I have been around people who have run for office that do not even understand
Right.
the responsibilities
Exactly.
that come with
Exactly.
the office.
I
And so
agree
I'm
with
running for city council where we appropriate money for things that are related to the city, like potholes, personnel, our budget for public safety, flooding, and just so many different aspects of
Of the
city
city.
governance, as well as appointing people to boards and commissions.
So
And-
I'm sorry.
No,
What
that's
do you plan to do day one? Because we talked about you have all this experience, and I know you do, and you're ready to hit the ground running day one. What would be your day one?
let me tell you, day one for me is I have already worked in the solid waste management
Mhm.
department, so I'm not even waiting for day one. I've already talked with the solid waste management department director to say, how can I help you? So yeah, I'm already running like the
Right,
before you get,
exactly.
how can I help you?
Proactive.
Proactive, the communications that are needed. What do you need? Because I bring in 18 years of having worked in that department, having brought in implementation for garbage day changes, heavy trash day changes, communicating with
And making sure we know when to put our trash.
Well, implementing new programs like electronics recycling, scrap, how do we, the grass recycling, the composting, all of those came up while I was at the solid waste management department. And so I had to communicate that. I also had to help put that together. I work in tandem with the rest of the department. I didn't do it by myself, but when it came to communication, I was the one responsible for getting that out. So one of the things is that the solid waste management department, as many people know, is not operating at the optimum level that it should. Right now, people don't know when their recyclables are going to be picked up, if they're even being recycled. There are times that that they have foregone recycling just for operational efficiency to make things happen. Those employees have been working. Some of those employees work 6 days a week.
Wow.
After the storm, they were working 7 days a week. We ought not to have something like that. But when we do need it, we are mandated to pick up the garbage according to the city ordinance. And so we are mandated to collections, and so those collections are to be there, and so to find out when you can have your garbage picked up. So one of the things is that if one of the things I want to do is to make sure that they're communicated. If you're not going to pick up the garbage, and if you have not, or the recyclables, have the transparency, the operational efficiency, say we're not going to put it at the curb.
Yeah.
People understand that things happen. Allow a moment, if it needs to be a moment to catch up, to get that schedule back on track. But don't tell us that it's going to be recycled and it's not, or that you leave your recycling can at the curb, and you go out of town and people see see it at the curb.
Yeah.
And maybe it was supposed to be Friday and you don't come to Saturday, but you went out of town, and people are like, well, I'm going to your house, and I'm going to pick
Or
up
the animals that get to it and leave the trash and make the trash all over the place.
Yeah.
Another,
But see, the thing is that if your can is out, they may say, you know what, you're not at home. It's an opportunity for me to rob your house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's part of that broken window theory. And so here it is. We need to do better. We need to do better in that. There's nothing that I want to say that the department director is doing a great job of getting and transforming that department. I'm ready to already start working with him. We've worked on illegal dumping cases when I was there as well. So we have to continue going forward, but we also have to look at how can we protect the employees, look at their longevity, because it's not sustainable to have 6 to 7 days. Imagine you working 6 to 7 days and you don't have time off, and you've got a family, you've got children. So anyway, I get passionate about the garbage workers because you know what? The solid waste employees, because those are people and they have families, and they do an honest job's work, and they work out in this hot sun, sometimes without the best of equipment, especially during these times. You talked about how hot it is. Imagine how hot it is to be in those cars.
So I love the fact that that is something that always affects me. Is when someone says something about the employee, the people that are out there doing the work, that totally impresses me when someone does think about it, because oftentimes people forget about the people that are doing the work. So I appreciate that you even think about the workers and what they're feeling. You're not out there doing it, but you definitely understand and you empathize with those workers. And so I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, and we're going to be looking at public safety. I'm concerned. I'll just tell you, yesterday I went to an anniversary celebration for Pastor Claude Cummings III at Victory. But the year before, there was an incident where somebody got really overheated, and we had to call out a fire department, and we had to call for the ambulance to come out. Well, one ambulance came, and it took a little while for them to come. But when they checked the woman out, they said, "No, we need to have the other ambulance come." I'm like, "What's the other ambulance?" The other ambulance had more of the equipment that was needed to test the lady, and I found out there was only a handful of those, those particular ambulances.
That's crazy.
And the thing is, if there's only a small amount of those particular ambulances, they may not have enough drivers to go. And this is 665 square miles. So what is important to me is things that affect quality of life, your safety. And so fire, police, making sure that you live in a safe and healthy environment is very critical and very important to me.
Yes, love that. You said something, and I wanted. Oh gosh, and I think I forgot it. I did forget it. I'm sorry. For the first time, I am speechless. Whatever.
You know what? One was you can have gotten us and consider what they can read all over that board. Look, I can read the kind of stuff. In January, I could go to the school teacher, so that's what I'm here to
Whatever.
Look, the thing that I did here, I ain't done that. The only thing that wrong out everything.
Yeah.
What wrong out? I don't know what wrong out. Accountability.
Passion.
Accountability. When we start holding the people that we place in positions, when we start holding the people that we place, two things, y'all, I hope y'all catch the word I'm saying. When we start holding the people that we have placed.
That part.
Now, see, sometimes what we do is we place people somewhere, and we figure that we just place them there, and we just leave them there, and then we get mad when they run home. We didn't place anybody there that was willing to hold somebody else, willing to listen to us and say, "Hey, these are some issues, these are some things." What we did, we took some people and of the bell and the whistle found good. And we were like, "Who y'all going all up in there?" And we turned our back, and then they ran them up. And then 5 years later, we looked. What happened? Because they wasn't holding nobody. We wasn't holding the building. I think that thing says,
Government.
government that point. But I think that part of that language says, we the people. We the people. When we the people look at the people that we're facing, and we see their track record. Sorry, here I come again. We often put people somewhere and never look at what they have done leading up to. We don't look at what their background looks like. We put the guy that never had no money over treasure. He ain't never had nothing, but we put him over treasure. But here are people that strong themselves, have done it. Have done it. Alcohol. When someone has shown themselves, what was that thing? When someone shows you who they are,
Believe.
I just speak what I speak. And you know, I'm not saying I can't tell nobody who do that, but what I will say is this: do your homework. Do your homework. You ain't got to listen to nobody. You ain't got to listen to John L. Palmer. He ain't got to homework. Do your homework. You go and say, you know what? When this issue came up, he didn't just look. When this bill, she wasn't powerful. She was like that people. Do your homework. I can't tell you one way or another. I'm just saying. Oh, the stuff.
Well, we bring it to a close, but I want you to take our final word segment and tell us about why and your campaign and just give us what is it? What did you say earlier? You want to be empty when we leave here today?
Yeah.
So let's go for it. It says leadership with purpose. I was trying to read this, but I took the glasses off. Let's see here. Mariana's back. Marina, y'all. Marina's background as an ambassador, which is what I heard too as you're speaking. As an ambassador, public servant, and small business owner will provide compassion, effectiveness, and resilience for our global city, which is what we know now means at large too, right?
Yes.
The whole city. Yes, I got it. Tell us, let's bring it home.
Wow. Let me tell you, this is a very important election. I need your vote. I would be remiss if I sat here and didn't ask for your vote because you're the ones who can make it happen. I can have all of the background, I can have the education, but unless you go out and vote, it's not going to happen. We need your support. We need you to go not only out to vote, either early voting or during the election day, but we need your support. Go to marinaforhouston.com. We need your support in financial support. We need your vote in prayers. We need your block walking legs. We need your call, you calling. And we know that what the best, women, we know how to tell when there's a sale on. Well, let me tell you, this is not a sale. This is for a better way of life in Houston. But get on that phone and say, you know what? I am supporting Marina. Get a yard sign in your yard. Show your display of support.
We can get the yard sign from the Marina for Houston.
Yes, marinaforhouston.com. And let me tell you, I'm the candidate who has the most experience, the education, the compassion for the community. And everybody will say that, but I have a proven track record of putting meat and potatoes at the table for the city of Houston in terms of policies and procedures. I'm not trying to say what I'm going to do. I've already done it. I just need you to put me in position to make it happen. I'm the one you put up in Espanol. I can speak Spanish. I can talk your language.
What's the other one? What's the other one you said?
And the thing is, it's not only just speaking the language. I have a heart for the people, and I want to have a heart don't have a special interest. My interest is the interest of the people of Houston.
Yes.
But I can't do it without you. I need your support. There'll be many, like you said, bells and whistles around and shiny objects, but I'm the one with the proven track record of having answered all those phone calls at 311. No, before 311. Sorry, 311 wasn't even around. Me answering all those phone calls
And
for the
having a
entire and writing
no
purchase
computers.
orders, taking those things by chicken scratch. And let me tell you, being accountable, I have seen the transition. I have been a visionary for where the department was going, and I brought the department into a more technological department. And that's the thing, is having a person with a vision. So I'm a person with a vision and a person who will represent you, leadership with purpose, that we can hit the ground running on day one. That's Marina for Houston.com. I've been seeing some of your comments that have been coming on. Thank you, Candace Joseph, for your support. Thank you, Minister Larry Scott, for your support. I have seen some of them that have been coming on. I thank you for coming on. Yes, for sure.
She look at the comment, but she looking at the
This is the time. This is a participatory government
Yes.
system. I want everybody involved. I want you to come and get on the bandwagon and roll. Let us drive the message forward that we need a person with experience. I'm not talking about experience on the school board. I'm talking about experience in the city that matters. That's the relevant experience, hands-on, city, state, having the education to do what the job calls to do. So I'm here to be your voice at City Council.
I'm finna go vote right now. I want to vote today. Can I vote today? Let's go. Come on, country boy, let's go.
You can't go today, but you can go today.
We can donate
You
today.
can donate
We
today.
get paid on Wednesday. You know, so let me ask that too. Do you have the something on your, I'm sure you do, on your website, Marina for Houston.com. Do you have something where people can do the donate one, like every week or every month? Or
Yeah.
something like that? Something like that on there?
Yeah, you can donate it. It can be monthly. We would really appreciate it. Let me tell you, people like, why do we need money for running an election? But let me tell you, every piece of paper costs money. The billboards, cost, the 4x8s cost about $100. Let me tell you, you say, well, can we see your signs around? Do we see billboards? Let me tell you, we are getting ready to implement that because we know that you are donating because you want somebody with experience and you want to show that you want to be shown around so that people recognize my name, Marina Angelica Coryat, and they will say, oh, wow, I see her in the community. Now I'm seeing her on the billboards. I'm seeing her with the staff to support her so she doesn't pass out during so we need that support. We are here to make a difference, but without you, we can't make it. Even being on the radio, being on TV, that's thousands of thousands of dollars. Many of you know that. Even remember the Super Bowl. You hear how much money goes for advertising in the Super Bowl. Now we're not doing Super Bowl commercials, but know that it costs to get on TV and radio and to get the word out. We really need your support because we can have the best message. We can have the best person to be in the job. But if you don't elect me, if you don't support with finances or other things, then, and even don't take it like, you may not have the finances, but you have the time. And you say, I can help you. I can volunteer. I can make phone calls.
Yeah.
I can pray. I can do certain things for you. You'd be surprised. Or I can donate water. I have water in my supply, and I can donate water for your volunteers when they're going out and in the hot sun. So thank you so much.
The other thing y'all can do is go ahead and share this because now the message gets out. You can just share this. Look, let me say this.
Julie, thank you. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate your vote.
Our Miss Julie. Love you, Miss Julie. I am so now I'm never gonna let you forget this, right?
But here's the thing is, Even if you don't want to, she has the message. Here's the message. She has delivered her message.
Mm-hmm. And a good one.
Look, I'm a country boy and have something. I know how I roll over here. There ain't no whole question written down. This, that, and the other. It's open, honest, and transparent. That's the only way. That's the only way that it comes. When we say speak on it, we speak from the heart. We speak from the truth. Bottom line, and she brought it. Boy, she brought it like a truth here.
Yeah.
But you know what? You opened the door. See, I wouldn't be able to give this message if you didn't open the door. If God didn't use you to open the door, both of you. And see, that's what it's all about, us working together.
Yes.
And so yeah, we'll speak on it if we have the platform. And you brought the platform. So I thank you for the opportunity to be on, speak on it.
Well, I'm gonna end and I'm gonna let old country boy take us on home. But thank you so much, Marina.
Thank
If
you.
that is right, Marina Angelica Coryat. So she is running for, y'all have to read, I'm old, so I can't remember the Houston City Council at large, position 2. Oh, position 2. So make sure.
Get the posting for the yard. Go to Marina for Houston, MARINA.
You can type that, you know that, right?
Houston.com.
Yeah.
And yes, marinaforhouston.com, and you can put it there. And we will get we can get the yard sign to you so you can put in your yard.
Yay.
That's if you live in Houston. So hopefully you live in Houston. Thank you so much.
So again, thank you, Marina Angelica. I did it the first one, Sheba. So Marina Angelica Coryat for Houston City Council at large, position 2. I wish I could give y'all a quiz and ask y'all. Matter of fact, I am gonna give you a quiz. I have a prize for you if you put in the chat. What does at large mean? This is my birthday month, all month long. So y'all put that in there, and I got something for you. But anyway, no. Thank y'all for joining Speak on It tonight. We love you and thank you for tuning in. We don't take any of your support for granted. Without you, there wouldn't be us, and we wouldn't have wonderful guests like this to be able to come onto this platform. Thank you again, Marina. Thank you so much. And the best of luck. And yes, I'm gonna bring you some water. I'm gonna bring something. I just can't walk for you till October. Okay. All right. Take it home, country boy.
Thank you so much. I thank you for coming and sitting here to make we're not selling anything, just being involved. That's what's y'all know, open brothers, it's so like that. They about to kick them out of this one. Okay, look here. They keep me out. Let's say this. Look here. God has placed something in your heart. He's placed a vision for you. He's giving you a vision. Don't worry about the people that tell you what you can. Don't worry about the people that tell you to try to find the race. Don't worry about the people that tell you you can't win. Don't worry about the people that say, oh, this ain't gonna happen. Don't worry about them that don't go with you. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about people that tell you you're too this to do that, you're too slow to do this, you can't run this place. Don't worry about them. Let me tell you something. If God has given you a vision, trust the old country boy. If he's giving you a vision, trust him. God, vision for that vision.
Amen.
You just keep on going.
Keep on.
You keep on going. Don't stop. Don't stop. Let me tell you something. If don't nobody else tell you, you got to believe right here tonight to tell you this, is that we believe in it.
Yes.
We believe in it. We believe in it. So if ain't nobody else told you, you know, heard it tonight, that we believe in you. So don't shoot that with it. And lastly, but not least, you know how the whole person going into this thing. If your own stuff is and you roll over, you look around, you put your head, you still in head. If you were out there today, it was about 299 over the degrees in Houston, Texas. If you was out there today out in heat, and you was looking at here what you did, but here it is at 9:04 p.m. women here right now.
Right now.
I love you. We love you.
And there's
Unconditionally.
and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Y'all have a good one.
See y'all later. Love y'all.
Large, we citywide.
Oh, I, okay, so, I should know. Okay.